This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, it's fight week, everybody. Anthony Joshua is travelling abroad. Yes, he's doing what a world champion does, which is defend his belts around the world. Something Wilder hasn't done, even though the Wilder fans have been saying for a long, long time, Joshua doesn't travel. Joshua's not been a real world champion. Even Wilder was saying this. Yet Wilder's never defended his title outside the US. Unbelievable, right? Anyway, Joshua is defending his world unified titles, the Super WBA, WBO, IBF and IBO world heavyweight titles in New York. He's an Englishman in New York. Now, his opponent, Andy Ruiz Jr. It's a very, very good, dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua. Automatically, Sport and Icon said that, so there'll be a lot of channels. What's Sport and Icon's talking about? How can he say that? That's just complete garbage. These are the so-called hardcore who will say this, why? Because they like watching the minimum weights. Arguably terrible fights, to be honest, that nobody else watches. Anyway, it's what it is. For me, this is a pay-per-view fight. It's a pay-per-view event. Look at the undercard. Joshua Buatsi is going to be on there. Josh Kelly's going to be on there. Callum Smith, Cal Yafai, Katie Taylor for Undisputed, and so on. Tommy Cole against Chris Algieri. If this event isn't pay-per-view, please explain your idea of pay-per-view. To be honest with you, 20 quid, is it really breaking the bank? Listen, I agree about pay-per-view. We already pay a Sky Sports subscription. Why do I have to pay pay-per-view on top of it? Totally get it. But anyway, for me, this is a pay-per-view worthy fight. Not just before the main event, but the entire card is absolutely stacked. Yes, it's an inconvenient time, but they have brought it forward a little bit for us here in the UK, where the show starts on Sky Sports box office at 11 p.m. I believe that's what I heard. And Joshua will be walking to the ring about 3 o'clock in the morning, rather than the usual 4 or 5 o'clock with some other events from America. So that's not too bad, is it? Now, the fight itself, Andy Ruiz Jr. only got one loss on his record to Joseph Parker, and this was for the vacant WBO World Heavyweight title. So Joseph Parker, he gets the nod in that fight. The fight went the distance, much like Joshua went the distance with Joseph Parker also. But a lot of people feel that Andy Ruiz won that fight, but didn't get the decision because it was in New Zealand. So Andy Ruiz Jr. travelled to New Zealand for the vacant WBO World Heavyweight title. In my opinion, I think that the fight was a draw. So whichever fighter got it, I weren't going to argue with. You couldn't call it a draw because then the title is still vacant. So for me, flip a coin, whoever got it, got it. So I have no grumbles with Joseph Parker winning that one, and I would have had no grumbles with Andy Ruiz Jr. winning that fight at all. Very, very good fight. Now, it's very, very important for those of you who are interested to see who Andy Ruiz Jr. is and weigh up like your own thoughts on the fight with Joshua. Watch Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Joseph Parker. The guy doesn't stop coming forward and he doesn't stop throwing punches. He's thrown as many punches in the first round as he is in the 12th. It's unbelievable how he does it. It's just absolute stamina, which is the kind of style that Joshua does not like. Joshua is the bigger guy for sure. But again, I urge you, find yourself a spare half hour. You can go onto Anthony Joshua's official YouTube channel or Sky Sports Boxing official YouTube channel and watch Joshua versus Povetkin. Look at the first 2 or 3 rounds of that fight. Well, in fact, look at the whole fight, pretty much up until Joshua stopped Povetkin. Joshua didn't look good at all. Now, apparently, he did have flu in that fight, which would explain a lot of the things for sure. But he didn't look good at all. He was getting tagged quite easily against Povetkin. Povetkin, Andy Ruiz Jr., they're all thereabouts the same kind of height. But Andy Ruiz Jr. is faster. Much, much faster than Povetkin. So if Povetkin can land on him, you would pretty much assume that Andy Ruiz is going to land on him. But let's not get too twisted. Povetkin is the more skilled fighter out of the two. But Andy Ruiz Jr. does have a lot of skill, very, very good boxing IQ, and he comes to win. He's not afraid of coming forward. Don't get me wrong, maybe in this fight, he's very, very confident. The bell goes, he sees the size of Joshua, feels the first punch and thinks, oh, hang on a minute. I'm going to take it a little bit easier. I don't want too many of those. We don't know how the fight's going to go, right? But Andy Ruiz Jr. is dangerous. His punch output is phenomenal. He's a much, much more dangerous opponent than Big Baby Jarrell Miller. He really is. And as I said before, look at Joshua versus Parker. Did he look good? No. Look at Joshua versus Povetkin. Did he look good? No. Against Carlos Takam, at times, no, not really. He didn't look good. Joshua likes the taller guys because he can find his range much easier. When he's fighting the shorter guys, he's having to crouch a bit. He doesn't like fighting that way. He always looks very, very uncomfortable with it. So Andy Ruiz Jr. may have some success in this fight. Don't be surprised if an upset. Listen, I like Andy Ruiz Jr. I've spoken to him on quite a few occasions. Real nice lad. But of course, I'm going to want Joshua to win this fight. Of course, he's a Brit, and that's just how it is. But I feel that Andy Ruiz Jr. is bringing a lot more to the table than a lot of people think. If Povetkin and Parker at times can make Joshua look ugly in that fight, Andy Ruiz Jr. can certainly do that. Don't be surprised if an upset. Well, I think people might be a bit surprised. But for me, there's too many people who are just looking at the physique of Andy Ruiz Jr. That's the last thing in the world that you need to be looking at with Andy Ruiz Jr. If you've never watched him fight, go watch the Parker fight. And you will see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. He's very, very fast. Watch the Joshua versus Povetkin fight. Then you'll see what it is that I'm talking about. Where Andy Ruiz Jr., if he gets on the inside of Joshua, Joshua will not like the amount of punches that's coming through. Povetkin was going for the one left hook, dazed punch, potential knockout punch. Andy Ruiz Jr. will throw combination after combination after combination. If Joshua was smart in this fight, he would try and make it, much like he did with Joseph Parker, make it a boring fight. Keep him at range. Keep him away. Box him. Because I've never seen Andy Ruiz Jr. hit the deck. I've never seen him wobbled. I'm not saying he can't be. Of course he can be. Everyone can be. But I've seen nothing which would suggest that Joshua should go out there in the first round all guns blazing. Don't worry about the fact what people say. Oh, Joshua should walk through him easy. Based on what exactly? Based on what? What is it that you've seen from Andy Ruiz Jr. that will give you that impression? What have you seen from Anthony Joshua that will give you that impression when you compare him against other smaller fighters? As I said, go watch Povetkin, Parker, and Takam at times, of course. What gives you that impression? Does it matter with the fact that Wilder got a first-round knockout win over Brazil this past weekend? No. The only important thing that Joshua does is get the win. And again, Joshua, he's having to defend his choice of Andy Ruiz Jr. because a lot of people are saying, why is he fighting Andy Ruiz Jr. for? Look at the blue sides of him, blah, 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 blah. And he's having to defend it. Andy Ruiz Jr. is a very, very good fight. He's going to come forward. He's going to bring it. It's going to be a tough night. Is Joshua going to make it a tough night? So people go, oh, yeah, that was really a tough night. If he did, Andy Ruiz Jr. is the wrong person to do that with it, in my honest opinion. Andy Ruiz Jr. may not slow down in this fight. In fact, I've never really seen Andy Ruiz Jr. Well, yeah, okay, he does slow down, of course he does, but he's still fast enough where his hands will still go. Even in the 12th round, he will still throw a lot of them. So if Joshua is hoping to get him into the later rounds and then maybe try and take him out, it might be the wrong tactic to use. Or it might be the right one. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know how hard Joshua hits. I don't know what the stamina is going to be like from Andy Ruiz Jr. when Joshua lands. We don't know. But Andy Ruiz Jr. getting in on the inside and unloading with combinations is not going to go down well with Joshua. If Joshua goes in there to try and make it a good fight, just to justify him taking on Andy Ruiz Jr. when he shouldn't have to justify it at all, anybody who knows anything about either one of these guys knows that this is a dangerous fight for him. If there is an opening to get rid of Andy Ruiz Jr. in the first couple of rounds, you take it. You don't string it out. Do you really think that if Andy Ruiz Jr., if he hurts Joshua, he's going to hold back a little bit to make it exciting? No. He's going to go for the kill. And that's exactly what Joshua needs to do. So hopefully he's not going to go in there and try and make it a good fight. I feel it could well be a very good fight. People who are overlooking Andy Ruiz Jr., I don't know why you're doing that. I'm presuming that you've never watched him fight before. This is a dangerous fight for Joshua. Again, people forget. Joshua is not the finished article. He's not. He's 22 fights in. How can he be? He's still learning. After 30 fights, you can probably say, right, Joshua, what you got? But every fight that he takes now is a learning fight. Every fight that he's been taking recently is arguably a step too early. And Andy Ruiz Jr. could be a step too early. But listen, of what we've seen of Joshua, you would fully expect Joshua to win this fight. You would expect him to potentially get rid of Andy Ruiz Jr. in the first 5-6 rounds. But again, based on what exactly? I mean, you know, I can pull like these rounds out of the air, but based on what? We've never seen Andy Ruiz Jr. rocked or stopped before, so how do we know? How do we know? Anyway, for me, it's a very, very exciting fight. Undercard absolutely stacked, as I said before. Excellent, and for me, this is a pay-per-view worthy fight. No, it's not because it's Joshua. No, it's not because it's Matchroom. No, it's not because it's Sky. It's because it's a pay-per-view worthy fight. It's 20 quid. Not ideal time, that's for sure, but still, 20 quid is what it is, right? Anyway, drop your thoughts below. How do you think that this fight's going to go? Do you think that maybe I've got it totally wrong? Do you think that maybe Joshua was just unwell against Povetkin, which is why he didn't really perform too well, and I shouldn't really be worried about it? Drop your thoughts below about it. Click thumbs up and, of course, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.